So if you haven't heard, there's a very viral story going on right now, and most of the world, or a lot of the world, is very captivated by this story because they want this submarine that is currently lost somewhere at sea to be rescued because they only have 96 hours to live. And this is at the start of their trip, which was Sunday morning. Now, at the time of this video, there's only about 10 hours or less left before they perish. Now, you could take this whole story with a grain of salt. I always tell people to really be discerning on just any kind of news, whether it's a false flag or at worst it's made up. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe these people are trying to disappear off the face of the earth, so they're faking their death, and who knows, right? But I'm inclined to believe that this is a true story and that these people need to be rescued. Now, I'm saying this because I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, but these people will die if they're not rescued. And this is the reason why this story, in part, is very captivating to the world right now. And I mean, you can go look this up, but a lot of people are just really tracking everything, all the movements that they're trying and hoping and praying for the rescue of these people because they're still alive. This is not a rescue operation, or rather that's the assumption, but at the very least, there's hope, right? And there's some chance. And I'm saying this because this video is for many of you that are taking life for granted. You're taking life and you're on cruise control. You're looking at things. You don't have a sense of urgency. Everybody in the world right now, they're looking at the story, the people especially, their family, the people trapped in the submarine. They're looking at the situation and they're not taking things for granted. They're hoping, they're with urgency. I think the last we heard, these people are pounding. They're pounding maybe all day, right? If you're about to die, you know that you have a limited supply of oxygen, that you have a expiration date, if you will, then you better wake up with a sense of urgency, realizing with a sense of gratitude, thankfulness, that your life, right? It wasn't just something that you just, wake up, you go to bed, and you just kind of live a lackadaisical life. Many people are recognizing, and especially as a believer, as a Christian, where you are taking your life, you're going to Sunday service, you're just doing your 9 to 5, you're going, Monday through Saturday, and you have no sense of urgency and a desire to find out what it means, not only to know the Lord, to be saved, to ask yourself, is there life after this life? What is it that I need to ask myself so that I'm not on this vegetative, mindless, sheepish state of being? You got to realize that God created you. He created you in His image. He's called you to do something. He's put you on this earth so that you would recognize that every single minute, every single hour, every single moment matters to Him, and that you need to recognize that yourself because you have an expiration date too. You will perish too, and you cannot be looking, and you can't afford to look at whatever circumstance or life, whatever scenario you are in, and just brush it off like it's no big deal. So as much as everybody that's involved in this, or some of the people that are following this story across the world, they're looking at it, rooting for them. The angels in heaven, God Himself, He's rooting for you so that you would recognize that with the limited time you have, because we're all going to die, right? This is not some morbid thing I'm talking about. We're all going to die. We have to meet our Maker. You're going to be judged. You're going to stand before Him, before the throne of God, and you're going to have to answer to Him. But the question is, how have you been a steward of what God has given you in this life? So if this is not a shock to you, a wake-up call to you to realize that maybe I need to take things more seriously. Maybe I need to look at things from a godly perspective and ask yourself, yeah, I had my first love. Yeah, I had some zealous times when I was younger or in the past. But right now, with less than 100 years average that somebody lives, what are you going to do with this life? Because these guys, I mean, let's hope that they get found. But in 10 hours, they're going to perish if, they haven't already been crushed by these things. And again, I'm not trying to sound negative here, but I'm trying to be realistic, telling you that if this doesn't shock you, and yeah, this is for, the worldly culture, they're caught up in it. But for you as a believer, you have your own life that you have to attend to, that you have to answer to before the Lord. How are you going to take the next couple of days, the next couple of years, the next couple of hours of your life? What are you going to do with what God has given you? Wake up, Realize that God, he sees you as a precious son and daughter of Christ, and you have to be a good steward with what God has given you. Take every second, every minute, every hour of your life seriously. If you know you have an expiration date, if you know, and I keep saying that, but I mean, if you know that you're going to pass away at some point, what are you going to do with what God has given you, the limited amount of time that you have left? There's a big, great commission. There's a ministry. There's a kingdom work that needs to be done. And you are part of this end times harvest, this end times work. Wake up, get yourself together, get your life together, and ask the Lord, come before him, repent before him, and make sure that you are taking up the full armor of God and what God has given you stewardship over. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.